This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes, and as the hostess of this program, we are excited to be able to bring more empowering information to you as an empowered individual and helping you make more decisions, more educated decisions on what you can do to help yourself on this thing we call the journey of life. And when on that journey of life, that includes our health. And that is what today's program is all about, is making sure that you are getting the best health you possibly can, and sleep is a really big part of that. Well, I am excited to be able to welcome each and every one of you, whether you're here live with us in the Zoom, or if you're on the live stream watching. If you would like to join us live, we are Monday through Friday from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific time. And you are invited to join us by going to DailywithDocZoom.com during that time, or just before that time, and you'll be able to take advantage of the full effects of our programming, and that includes the chat that has some informative information, as we have one of our co-hosts who does transcription into the chat that you can only see if you are present. So folks, if you are invited by somebody specific, make sure that you get back with them and tell them thank you. Thank you for inviting you to have the opportunity and investing this time in yourself so that you also can get more empowering information so that you can make better decisions in your health journey. Today, we have with us one of our naturopaths who just, she just loves people. She's tried to do a niche, like allopathic medicine. You have those that are in specialists, the specialist for this, the specialist for that, specialist for that. Well, she just has a passion for people and wants to make sure that she's meeting people where they're at. And when it comes to nutrition, folks, the whole body works better when you treat the body as a whole and then address those extra little things. And most of those extra little things have to do with nutrition. And that's what she specializes in. But today we're going to be talking about sleep and the importance of sleep. Because there's a lot of things, you have that equation of things that go together. You get better sleep, you get nutrition, you're more rested, and you're on a better path to wellness. So help me welcome to the screen with me, Dr. Taylor Mitchell. Dr. Mitchell, thank you again for joining us here on this terrific Tuesday. We should call it Taylor Tuesday. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm doing wonderful. How are you guys doing?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. And before I forget, folks, this program is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician, nor is it meant to treat, diagnose, or cure any disease. But folks, when you give the body what it needs, the body itself can do some amazing things. Now, the FDA does require us to say that, and the products mentioned are not meant either to treat, diagnose, or cure any disease. But if you go to pubmed.gov and you look up the nutrients in these products, you're going to find that they are absolutely essential to obtaining better health. And when you have a synergistic blend, oh my goodness, what can we do? Dr. Taylor Mitchell is going to share us a little bit about that. So, Dr. Taylor, let's talk about sleep.
Yeah, I love sleep. One of my favorite topics.
You get a lot more sleep than I do, so I need a little bit of help here, okay?
Yeah, so since I was a child, I have not gotten a lot of sleep. And my mom even said that when I was an infant, she would walk into my room and I would be wide awake at 2 a.m. And that's how I was wired, since I was a child. And it really affected me later in life when I was in like my 20s. Not sleeping, is really, your body doesn't have the ability to thrive. Your digestion doesn't work as well. You don't have enough energy or mental focus. You're probably going to get into more car accidents. Your body can't fully regenerate and recover whenever you don't get good sleep. And so it's something that I've looked at very closely and have found some things over the years. I would say just recently, within the past 2 years, after I started really studying Chinese medicine. I went to my friend who does Chinese medicine and acupuncture. Her and I do trades. We work together in this clinic in Boulder, and it's wonderful because she's taught me so much about the body when it comes to the Chinese medicine perspective, the Eastern medicine perspective. And so what I discovered, when she would look at my tongue, she would see redness and say, "You have heart heat." And what does that mean? That means that, some people are more prone to it than others. Heart heat is basically when you've consumed things or done things that would increase heart heat. And that really affects sleep. And that's why I couldn't sleep for so long, is because I had this heart heat. And what causes heart heat? Many different things, but especially certain types of caffeine. Green tea actually doesn't have the same effect. And some people can drink all the coffee they want and they can sleep and they're totally fine. But some people like me, who's prone to heart heat, when I would drink caffeine or coffee, it would just start to get worse. And so people who are prone to this heart heat are more likely prone to anxiety and panic attacks and they have this heart heat. People who have panic attacks, I say stop drinking caffeine or eating cacao, because cacao can create this heart heat as well. Spicy foods can also do the same. And tell people to stop, consuming things that cause this heart heat, and they can sleep way better. And they're way less prone to panic attacks and anxiety attacks. So interesting. And so that's, some things I've really paid attention to. That's one thing. Another thing that really affects our sleep is the sun. If we get sunlight right into our eyeballs, we'll have more energy because the sun is pure light energy. We are solar beings, just like plants. Every living being literally requires sun exposure in the sun because we're solar beings as well. And so if a plant doesn't have, some type of sunlight, it will die. Same with humans. And some people don't go out in the sun at all. They're inside all the time. And they're on their screen all the time, which is another thing that disrupts sleep, especially before bed. But people who can go outside, and if doing it in the morning is the best bang for your buck. I know it is really hot right now, so not a lot of people want to be out in direct sunlight. But if you can do that, it'll regulate your circadian rhythm and really help your sleep. I could just keep
Love,
going on and about some other things. I don't know if you guys had
I
any
love
questions.
the sun. You couldn't tell by the color of my skin, but I absolutely love the sun.
Yeah,
So it's doing me good and helping me when I do get to sleep. I sleep really good. So
great.
the sun might be part of that.
Oh yeah. Sun is
Oh,
what
that's
helps
fantastic.
regulate our circadian rhythm. It's essential
No.
if we want good sleep. People who can't get good sleep really, really need the sun.
So, folks, if you're not getting out in the sun, that might be why you're not sleeping well or why you're always tired. Because it could be the lack of sun could create lack of energy. Like you just said, you know, like plants, we need to thrive, sun. So, something that you had mentioned, what's the biggest difference between Chinese medicine and naturopathic
So they just
medicine?
have different, different founders and people who discovered them and where they were and things like that. So Chinese medicine really actually started with yoga studies. Yoga is like the root and like, also like massage that and acupuncture has been studied for thousands of years. That is really the origin of Chinese medicine, yoga studies. Some people don't like yoga that, they think it's a little woo woo and it's spiritually kind of dangerous for some people believe that. But that's really like it goes back to like some of the first studies we can find when it comes to healing were with Chinese medicine, and really what they also would do is massage. Massage is actually the oldest form of healing that we have to date that we know of. Touch, and that actually that came from Eastern medicine, and naturopathic medicine came a little later, like maybe like 1,000 years later, not a little later, but its origins actually really we can find like texts from the 1800s. I know people were doing things before that, but that's really whenever we had like research and like documentation was naturopathic medicine, and that also was I'm not sure exactly where that was. What was I don't know if anybody else knows, but I'm not exactly sure where like its origin started. But it's been around for a long time, and we just believe the human body has wisdom, and we use other things too. We use Western herbs, and Eastern medicine really just uses um, Chinese herbs and acupuncture and things like that. They're really specific to that. So, if you meet a Chinese medicine doctor, she will recommend Chinese herbs, and that they're amazing. I love it. But I'm not exactly like completely trained in Chinese medicine, but if I'm maybe planning on doing that because I love it.
Well, I know that wasn't a question that we planned on asking, but since you brought it up, I just wanted to help people understand the difference between the two. Now, where does nutrition come in whenever it comes to sleep?
So, um, great question. Have you guys heard of something called the Chinese body clock?
I've never have heard of the Chinese body clock.
So basically what that is it'll tell you different timings of what is cleansing in the body. So,
Mm.
people who, and I'm probably going to answer this in a lot of different ways. But depending on what time you wake up in the middle of the night, so people wake up in the middle of the night, that'll determine what organs are affected. So if you're waking up at midnight, that's when the gallbladder. So the Chinese body clock is basically like each time is when the body heals a different organ. So the times that people wake up the most to sleep are oftentimes when the body goes into healing the liver. And that's between 1 to 3 a.m. That's oftentimes the most common time people will wake up and not be able to go back to sleep, because that means that their liver. So nutrition is directly related because nutrition is related to our organs, right? And so our organs are really play a factor as well for our body's ability to sleep. And so if you can't sleep during that window, oftentimes people just are forced to wake up, and what's going on is our liver is stressed and burdened with toxicity and inflammation and free radicals and all these things that can disrupt the liver. The liver has so many responsibilities, and it's easy for that to get overworked and overburdened. So during that time, that was me. That was when I would wake up. I'd wake up at 2 a.m. and not be able to go back to sleep for another hour or so. That's because I had, I needed healing done to my liver, had liver heat as well. It's another thing. We can get into that later. And then there's also the lungs. So 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. If you're waking up during those times, it's because there's something going on and affecting your lungs. Oftentimes, a lot of people live on the East Coast actually have a lot of lung issues. And the reason that is because of the air quality. The air quality in the United States just continues to get worse. Some of it's alarming rates depending on what time of the year. But that also can be a major factor as well of not being able to sleep. Just our organs are overburdened. with toxicity and not enough nutrients, because our organs need nutrients and things to support them from our food, but unfortunately you can't really find it from our food. That's why I love longevity. There's so much nutrition that gives our body support so they can optimize their structure and function, so they can work. And so our body doesn't have to wake itself up just because we're not able to get the things done. And longevity has some great stuff for that as well.
Okay, so I had no idea about the Chinese body clock
Oh,
at
it's
all.
okay.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah.
And if there's anything is for me, and maybe it's because I've been on the nutrition, is when my head hits the pillow, I'm not waking up until it's time for my alarm to go off. And many times I wake up like 3 to 5 minutes before my alarm even goes off.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's
awesome. It's a superpower.
okay. I'll take that. I'll take that. A superpower. Okay.
Everybody
I'll take
has
that.
that, man. I've got people who have to take 2 different sleeping medications just to be able to fall asleep. That's, some people cannot sleep. Some people they're up until 5, 6 a.m. They just cannot sleep. They can't do it. It's really frustrating for them. Some people just get so frustrated, and being angry keeps you up even longer.
That's true. I know a lot of people that carry a lot of anger and they can't sleep or they don't sleep very well.
That's another thing.
Now, go ahead.
Oh no, yeah. So our emotions. So if people are really stressed out about something or they had a tragic loss, that also will really disrupt their sleep. Is because their body is, our emotions are so connected to our body, and so whenever we're stressed out about something, it's going to affect our bodies, and it can disrupt our sleep and our minds. People just replay these stories in their head to where they can't sleep.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's a true story or a story that, woulda, coulda, shoulda type
Exactly.
thing
Yep.
that, worry about something that might happen that never does.
Yep.
That's a big one too.
For sure.
So longevity has come up with the sleep system. It has 3 products that are designed to help the body be able to relax and nutrify, and even some melatonin to sleep better. Share with us a little bit about specific, even whether it's the products themselves or ingredients within the products that you think are really contributing to helping us get the best sleep. Because I love our sleep gummies. There are some days where my mind is like going, and I'll take 2 sleep gummies and then I'm out.
Let me grab
Then
them.
there's
I have 2. I'll explain them.
okay. And
I
then
have the BioNight and the sleep gummies. And
yes, 2
I
great
love
products.
so I love the BioNight because there's times whenever I travel, if I'm going to get on an airplane and it's a long overnight flight, um, having BioNight is so helpful. And because you don't feel drowsy the next morning. And I love this stuff. It's a gentle, source of melatonin. Some melatonin can make people drowsy depending. But this stuff puts me right to sleep. I love it. So real
All right.
okay.
And that's BIO. Is it NITE?
Yep.
Yep. BIONITE. Absolutely. That's a great one. And then sleep gummies.
Yep. These are wonderful. I've only taken them once. So L-tryptophan is actually, after people eat their Thanksgiving meal and they're oftentimes tired and they want to take a nap, that's because
Yeah.
L-tryptophan can be found in turkey, and that's an amino acid that helps regulate sleep. So it's also like a soothing, relaxing type of amino acid. And GABA actually helps relax the mind, actually. Helps just kind of calm things.
There's the answers why they work for me.
Yep, there you go. Chamomile is very relaxing as well. And yeah, there's also a little bit of melatonin in there, not too much, which is great. Yeah, I love this stuff. And they taste good, and it's just like, oh, I could eat a gummy before bed.
Yeah, gummy before bed, although I still brush my teeth before actually I hit,
Yeah.
my head hits the pillow. So are you familiar with the HGH complex? Youth
Yes.
complex?
Yeah, I have some. I have like a whole tons of YouTube products.
So with the HGH youth complex, it's not really HGH, but more of the precursors that help stimulate the manufacturing of the human growth hormone
Mhm.
within us. That's my understanding.
Mhm. Yeah, so um, what longevity does is we stimulate the body's ability to do things. We stimulate the body's ability to have a healthy immune system, a healthy liver. So yeah, that's what it's doing. It's supporting promoting the body's ability to produce its own HGH, which is what you want.
Which is what you want. Absolutely. Instead of having either a synthetic or a human growth hormone from an animal. Yes,
Mhm.
we are considered mammals, but I would rather create my own.
Yeah,
And
so
then
sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, so
No, go ahead.
we want things to produce naturally on our own. And unfortunately, hormone replacement therapy is something that's really common. Fortunately, hormone replacement therapy is can be very harmful. I talk to a lot of women after they do it. And yeah, hormones are another terrible thing when it comes to sleep. Women wake up with not with night sweats and then hot flashes and that stuff. That's a whole nother ball game when it comes to sleep. Feel so bad for some of these women that just like are just horrified. They're just they live in horror because of their changing of life, and it's a whole nother topic when it comes to sleep.
That is a whole new another topic, but I'm so thankful I had my nutrition on board because I
Yeah,
didn't experience those horror stories that I hear all the time as we're working with people. So that's fantastic.
yeah.
Um, and how about osteomag? So osteomag is a capsule that has magnesium, which helps to relax. Got calcium.
You
What else
need
can you tell us about osteomag?
So those are incredible products for so many things because what happens with you need calcium and of course magnesium to break each other down. They're cofactors of each other, so you really need those. And so we have arteries and we have veins. So the arteries pump blood away from the heart, and the veins pump blood back to the heart, and muscles constrict and relax. And so magnesium helps the muscles relax. And so if they're constricting all the time and they can't relax because they don't have enough magnesium, that's when we're going to see joint issues. That's when we're going to see nerve, this more inflammation, more coagulation and stagnation within the body. And we want things to move and flow. If our blood's not flowing, that's also going to disrupt our sleep. We want our blood to
Right?
be able to flow freely. And so, magnesium and vitamins and minerals, things they work with so many systems of the body. Magnesium helps relax nerves. I mean, magnesium helps calm the body down. And it definitely promotes a good, healthy sleep. I love magnesium and I love calcium as well. They need each other to work. And yeah, they're good for so many things, but especially sleep. So I definitely recommend that stuff as well.
And then they work together.
Mhm.
So you add in the sleep gummies, you add in the HGH youth complex and the osteomag, and they work together with all of those benefits that Dr. Taylor just shared with us from each of, some of the key ingredients in those products. So I encourage you to get the sleep system, especially if you are having problems with falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up groggy, groggy. um, so Dr. Taylor, I know we do have a few questions. Is there
Yeah.
anything more about sleep that you would like to contribute to today's conversation?
Absolutely. So, exercise, moving the body, getting that heart pumping, flowing, strength training, that kind of stuff is extremely important for sleep and many different systems of the body and longevity. Those who have more core muscle mass have way more, longevity, and it's better for the immune system. It's good for our structural system. Having muscle mass will help our body in so many ways, and especially when it comes to sleep, but really entire, like full body healing. And so exercise is so important and movement. Another thing is if you're having trouble sleeping, then limit screen time. So most people jump on their phone as soon as they wake up, and that's really disruptive to the everybody does it, right? To the beta to alpha, brain waves and all that stuff. So I keep my phone out of my room. It's in the living room when I sleep. So I wake up and I have my morning routine. And then after I get that done, then I can go reach for my phone and check my emails and everything I need to get done. So that's another thing. Also, I wouldn't recommend anybody have technology charging in their bedroom close to them, because it can cause, like, people that have, like, shoulder pain or back pain. I'm always like, do you charge your phone next to your head? Yes. Get your phone out of the room, charge it out of the room. You want to be able to recover and get the most bang for your buck out of sleep. So get screen, dim lights at nighttime, turn your lights off and dim them, because that can really disrupt sleep as well. Make sure you're not eating like chocolate and cacao close to bedtime, because that has caffeine and that can create some heart heat and that can disrupt sleep. I know it does for me, including caffeine. And Also, what I wanted to say about sleep is that we actually have healing cycles during sleep, and the most bang for your buck for sleep. If you can only get 4 hours, if you're the only kind of person who can just get 4 hours of sleep, then get the times between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. There's 4 healing cycles. Did you guys know this? That take place during these times, and that's just where you get all these healing cycles from sleep.
So I'm missing out on a lot of those healing cycles because there's
Yep.
nights I don't go to bed until 2 a.m.
Yep. Unfortunately, some of the younger generation stays up every night until 2 a.m. and they miss all those healing cycles. So you will see more, just more cell regeneration and stuff like that if you get those times. And yeah, so, deep breathing. I'll circle back around and just kind of touch on everything again. Deep breathing is so important. I haven't even mentioned that yet. It's relaxing to your nervous system. It helps raise your blood oxygen levels. You can lose 3 pounds of toxins a week for deep breathing for 5 minutes a day. That's also something that's incredibly helpful for sleep. If you're having a hard time falling asleep, just sit up on your bed with a straight spine and just do some deep breathing for a few minutes and see if that helps. Usually that does. Another thing I'd like to talk about is earplugs. I use them. I have them right next to my bed right here, and wax earplugs. Those are something that can make or break sleep. People who are really sensitive, like myself, um, and yeah, screen time, and yeah. So those are some things I recommend. Exercise, low caffeine intake. If you're having a really hard time sleeping, lower your caffeine intake and switch to green tea instead of coffee. I know DWD's got some incredible coffee products. I'm not saying those aren't amazing, because they totally are. I can't drink coffee because I won't be able to sleep. So that's me. And when I do want some caffeine, I love our Rebound. Rebound is the best, in my opinion, source of energy. Every person who walks into my clinic, I give them Rebound. Yes, that's my favorite product right there. Rebound is incredible for so many systems of the body, and it won't create that heart heat. So
Right.
yeah, I'd love to get into some questions if anybody else has anything you'd like to ask.
A couple questions, and definitely note to self and crew, we need more sleep. But it's like that time is like the least interruptions throughout the day, so we get the most done.
Yeah.
Then we crash. But yeah, just maybe too much information for some of you, because sleep really is important, and we need to be practicing what we preach as well. So so we do have a couple questions, and folks, if you are here with us and you would like to ask a question, please go ahead and put that into the chat, and just do a message to chat. Nobody specific. It comes to each of us here as co-hosts, so that we can then get your question answered. If you're on one of the live streams like Rumble or YouTube or Facebook and you'd like to ask a question, my amazing co-hosts are watching those streams, so you can put your questions in there and they'll bring them into the show. If we don't get to your question, make sure you send us questions, and you can do so by emailing us at questions@dailywithdoc.com. Again, that's questions@dailywithdoc.com. So the first question has to do with copper. Now, copper is a trace mineral, right? It's actually an element. What would be the maximum dosage of copper that you can take daily? And Sergi is asking this question. Do you know the answer to that?
Great question. So it really depends on what your body can absorb. Dr. Wallach always says it's really hard to overdose on vitamins. I wouldn't recommend taking a ton of it, especially if it's in like a capsule or powder form, because then you don't know how much your body can actually use. You got to make sure that the liver can even really help, break it down, that the stomach acid and the digestive tract is healing, and you don't have too much bad bacteria, not enough good bacteria, which is a lot of people, unfortunately. And so, what you can do is you can muscle test your body, and you can ask your body. And how I like to do that is, you actually face the north, and you say, ask, like, I like to hold things up to my chest like this. And like, okay,
Yes.
if I lean forward, that's usually yes. And you got to ask the body, show me yes, show me no. Stand straight up and face the north. Well, I can just demonstrate. You guys want me to demonstrate?
Yeah, absolutely demonstrate. And I know there's a couple things to get true readings is you need to one not have unnatural shoes on, right?
Yeah.
So it
So I
works
just like
best.
to be barefoot.
Yeah, and it's best if you're on a non-synthetic floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's very important.
yeah, but yeah, go ahead and show us a demonstration
So,
on to do that.
okay. So you stand up and you say, show me yes. And I lean forward, and then show me no. And I usually lean backwards. So whenever I'm going to take something, I ask specifics. Should I take 1 drop of this? And then you lean forward, 2 drops of this. No. So that's how, like, if you feel like a tug backwards, that's a no. If you feel a lean forwards, that's a yes. That's, in my opinion, the most accurate way to test for supplements. So that's what I like to do. And it's so important to get into the habit of that, to muscle test and ask your own body, because, you know, practitioners might know, but whenever people come see me, I love to muscle test body. And that's how I actually get dosage. Whenever people come and I ask, their body, how much does your body want? And that might change too. A month later, it might be less, it might be more. You never know. That's why you just got to ask the body and, see what it wants, see what it can handle.
And does it make a difference if you have your eyes open or closed when you ask that question?
It's a great question. I always have my eyes open, but now that you ask, you know what? I've heard it's better closed, but you know, I might try it more now closed, because I do sometimes do it closed without thinking about it. But that's a great question. I guess you're supposed to have them closed, but some people prefer open, some people like them closed. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm always able to focus more, with less distractions around me when I have my eyes closed and I ask that question.
yep,
So I didn't know if that played any factor into it or not.
it definitely could. Yeah, with distractions, totally can kind of get in the way.
Yes, absolutely. And the next question we have Marilyn with her hand up. So Marilyn, go ahead and unmute yourself. What question do you have for Dr. Taylor today? Unmute yourself, my dear.
You're muted.
Okay. Why north?
So that's just what it says, because north is like, front. So some people, I've actually told a few of my friends who are like Ayurvedic doctors to start facing the north, because sometimes it can be inaccurate if you're facing a different direction. That's just what kinesiology will tell you, is you want to face the north. That's how you get the most accurate muscle testing.
You think it has something to do with, I also often thought biblically, they always say God's throne is in the north. Do you think there's
Yeah,
more to it?
maybe it could be that.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
And
Yes,
is that the only question you had, Marilyn?
I did. She just happened. I gotta ask that question.
Yeah.
So
All right. Thank you very much. That's another great question. And the next question that we have for you, Dr. Taylor, is from Valerie. What is heart heat?
That's a great question. So our organs can get hotter, like the liver tends to run hot, and so the heart can too, depending on what you're eating. So a way to identify if you have heart heat is look at your tongue, and if there's red on your tongue, that oftentimes can mean you have heart heat. It's basically a Chinese medicine term. And so things that can cause this heart heat are, caffeine, especially coffee. Coffee can increase this heart heat. Cacao, like chocolate, some people do like cacao ceremonies and things like that, and that can actually increase heart heat. If I ever go to a place and there's cacao, I don't drink it because I won't be able to sleep. Even black teas can do that. Spicy food like cayenne pepper can also create. Even though cayenne's incredible, I love cayenne. I'm not saying don't ever. I'm not saying don't consume cayenne, but if you're more prone to heart heat, then don't consume too much.
Okay, that's a great question. Now, how about EMFs from Bill? Is the question.
I love that topic. Unfortunately, we live in a society where we are exposed to extreme amounts of EMF, and they keep increasing the amount of EMF. I can feel it. I have radiation protection in my apartment, and I have some in my car as well, and I love to protect myself. I've got two devices on my phone um, that helps to protect me from radiation. Microwaves, you actually can sense the radiation from 6 feet away. And cell phones are the same with our laptop. You don't want to have a laptop in your room charging at night. You want to take the technology away because you want your cells and your DNA and your RNA to be able to recover. And when there's EMFs around you, some people sleep with their phone attached to their freaking side. That's disrupting a lot of systems of the body and cells and cell regeneration. So yeah, we want to have the EMFs away from us as much as possible. People say we live in a microwave society with how bad the EMFs are and how bad it keeps getting. You go to Hawaii and it's really bad there. I love Hawaii and I go every year, but they have tons of EMFs there.
Wow. Well, and you had mentioned, and this is something for everybody. She has a device on her phone to help protect against EMF radiation. And Longevity does have what's called an EMR smart patch. And you can find that on the website. If you're not working with anybody, you can find that on the Daily with Doc website, as this program is being sponsored by Daily with Doc. Super simple. You just put it to the back of your phone and then put your case on. And then that just adds a level of protection, but absolutely wanting to make sure that you disconnect from your devices and allow your body to have that time of not being bombarded by the different effects of that EMFs, or of those EMFs, I should say. Next, let's go to AJ. AJ, what question do you have for us today? Go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Dr. Taylor Mitchell. How are you?
Hey Jay, good. How are you doing?
Doing all right. It's fantastic having you on the show. When you just a quick comment, they say that the Teslas have a very high EMF projection in the car. Like somebody had I guess a reader of some sort, and they kind of said that it was more than a microwave. Like when you mentioned the word microwave, it was giving off more than being 2 feet away from a microwave.
Yeah.
At any rate, my question though is about progesterone. I get a lot of people who mention that they are taking supplements of progesterone or different other hormone substances, which I'm not extremely well versed in, but I do recall speaking with pharmacist Ben a bit about that, and he kind of mentions that our body's in flux, homeostasis, and just by giving a constant amount of a substance is probably not the way that we want to go. Can you tell us what you do to help folks who are looking for better hormone situations?
Uh-oh, did we lose her?
Or I could answer my own question, I guess.
And well, I think we lost her. I know she had mentioned about her computer and having to grab her charger. So we lost her, but she'll be back. She'll be back. So maybe she'll join us from her phone or come back on. But okay, so she's going to have to answer that question, or one of our doctors are going to have to answer that question. Maybe Dr. Wallach tomorrow can answer that question, as we will have Dr. Wallach on Wednesdays and Thursdays here on Daily with Doc. And Becca, he is the doctor that started this whole crusade. So we are absolutely excited that we're able to have him with us a minimum of 2 days a week. So I know last week, was it last week? Yeah, last week he was here with us 3 days. So that was absolutely fantastic. And let's see if she comes back in. Other than that, what are you guys thinking of sleep? Let's get some interaction here within the chat, because I know when she comes back, she'll be able to answer some more questions.
Well, what's the difference? Why do they have the osteomag as opposed to the Cal-Toddy in that sleep system?
It might be, one, there's no calories. Two, with it being a capsule, it doesn't require refrigeration. So it's easy to have on your nightstand so that you can take it at bedtime. And must have to do with the combination of all the ingredients that are in there that help with the relaxation. But if you're already taking the 90 essential nutrients and you're taking it to body weight, you may not need all those extras as well, which I know the nutrients in the Cal-Toddy are found also in the tangy tangerine, not in the same ratios. Let me just say that there's not an overlap that you don't need one or the other. You do need both of them to make up that full 90 essential nutrients at the amounts that the body actually can thrive with. So we can barely survive those RDAs, ridiculously deficient amounts, with much less. But folks, we're all about thriving and giving the body what it needs so that it can be at its optimal best. And I see that there's more questions here. No? Marilyn. And then AD, did you have a question?
I had a question kind of for Taylor about hot flashes. I have a lot of hot flashes, and I take the essential fatty acids, I take hypothalamus support, and I also take the hormonal FX, and I still get a lot of hot flashes.
So I'm going to have somebody that made a recommendation to me that has really worked for me. And that is Ruth Ellen. Ruth Ellen, tell us about Stay Balanced. You got to unmute yourself first.
Thank you. Sorry. Stay Balanced is a phenomenal product, and it was created by Dr. Laura Dennison for women and men, but it balances out the testosterone. And sometimes when you're going through menopause and perimenopause, and when you're postmenopausal, your testosterone levels can get really high and it throws things off balance. And so when you take Stay Balanced, it balances out the testosterone. And in doing so, it also balances out the estrogen and the progesterone, because there's nothing worse for a woman or a man probably, but mainly women. I know more about women than I do men. If you're taking a supplement, we have wonderful, phenomenal products for women, Women's FX that has progesterone in it. And we have a couple other, Xerafem and the other one, I can't think of it.
Women's Hormone Balancer.
Yes, Women's Hormone Balancer. But if you don't know what you need to balance in the female hormones, you can make something become really high. If you're taking a bunch of the Women's FX, then your progesterone is going to get higher. You need to just kind of level them both out. And it's a great place to start, because a lot of times just using that will balance things out to a point where the hot flashes get better. And it also helps with the other symptoms of having, for a woman, high testosterone levels, which, you can get whiskers, Your hair starts to thin and all kinds of things, and had phenomenal results with women balancing it out. Their hair starts to grow back. They just,
It's interesting that you say testosterone, because I always felt it was testosterone more than estrogen issue. And with this heat, I'm telling you, you're going to be a lifesaver with that stay balanced. It's like the
Yeah.
80 or 90, and then to have a hot flash on top of it. Oh
Mm.
my gosh. Fantastic information.
thank you.
Yes,
Wow.
thank you. Thank you, Marilyn. That's a great question. And Ruth Ellen, we have an individual, female, 67 years old, 5 foot, 150 pounds, and wants to lose weight. Now, I know depending on, age, so she's 67, she still could have some hormone issues. And here comes Dr. Taylor. So
Yeah.
let's go ahead and
Let's
present
ask
her
her.
question. Let's
Yes.
ask her.
Yes.
All right. So, Dr. Taylor, if you could go ahead and unmute yourself. And
So sorry about that. My Wi-Fi, which I just paid for, kicked me off. It just stopped working. I'm so sorry.
no worries. No worries. We're just glad that you were able to make it back because we have a question for you. Okay.
Yes.
So we have a 67-year-old female, 5 foot, 150 pounds, and she wants to lose weight. What would you recommend for somebody that is 67 years old, 5 foot, and 150 pounds?
So I have a lot of questions. How is her gut health?
And I'm glad that you're going
Okay.
through these questions. These are all things that we need to know in order to be able to help somebody most. So say her gut health is she has regular bowel
Yeah.
movements.
I can't give you any recommendations until I ask about it.
Okay. So there we go. We need more information. So as you are submitting questions to questions@dailywithdoc.com, please include if there are any digestive issues, blood pressure, blood sugar issues, and of course, what your main concern is, your height, your weight, and your age, and male or female. That will give us more information about what it is that is going on so that we can give it a more complete answer. And let's go back over to AJ.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic that you're back, Dr. Mitchell. Just was wondering though about the whole now. Nancy said that Ben Fuchs said that progesterone is bioidentical, so you can use it. But I'm just, what do I need to keep in mind, and what do I need to know to be able to better assist folks that are coming in talking about taking different hormones on at a consistent rate on a daily basis? What do I need to tell them?
Great question. So, hormones are really misunderstood. And like what are our hormones? And how do they get affected? And how do we bring them back into balance? Our hormones are all your glands, your pineal gland, adrenal glands, thymus gland, your thyroid gland, also your pancreas and your ovaries. That it was what your hormones consist of. And what really disrupts and affects our hormones is our environment, like pollution, agricultural, industrial chemicals, tap water. There's all these endocrine disrupting chemicals in tap water and our, in plastic. You touch a receipt and you are getting all these endocrine disrupting chemicals, and plastic bottles as well. People use personal care products every day, and there's probably maybe 100 sometimes endocrine disrupting chemicals on what they use just in the morning. Their body wash, their shampoo and conditioner, lotions, perfumes, colognes, makeup, deodorants, all that stuff, sunscreen, can have endocrine disrupting hormones and chemicals. And did you know that animals can even have, because we're seeing such a rise in people who are changing hormones and changing genders. And, that's been happening for a long time, but it's really happening a lot right now. And did you know that fish even, our fish can even change genders? Like they're there's gender changing going on with even our wildlife. So we have an endocrine disrupting environment, unfortunately. And so we've got to cleanse our hormones, and we also got to support them. We got to make sure they're being cleansed properly. And we also got to take nutrients and do daily things that support our endocrine system, our hormonal system. Does that answer your question?
What types of things do we need to do to cleanse this system?
So you got to make sure that you're hydrated and that you're experiencing cellular hydration. I live in Colorado. I live like 15 minutes away from something called El Dorado Springs, which is some of the best water in the world. And I live about 25 minutes from Ward, which they have this natural spring. And, if you live close to a natural spring, I would fill up your 5-gallon jugs and drink that water, because water can be really depleting and it can be dehydrating. So you want to make sure you're hydrated. If you want to get a water filter that adds hydrogen back to your water or something like that, people even have crystallized water that helps change the structure of the water. That's where you want to start. How you cleanse these things is there's herbs you can take. I can't recommend specific herbs for cleansing the hormones without talking to somebody specific and knowing more information about them. But you can take, if you want to go to your local apothecary and you ask them what the local herbs are, that's what, I would recommend anybody do that wants to do something about their hormonal system right now. You can go to local apothecary, local to you and your city. Tell them that you want hormonal support that helps you adapt to your specific environment, because there's oftentimes local herbs that are grown in that area. That's the best way right now that somebody can, without talking to a professional first about how to address their hormones, go to a local apothecary, talk to the local herbalist, and take the medicine that's grown local to your area, because that's going to help you adapt to all your environment.
Okay, well, then that raises a couple other questions. Then what about things like, because when I started this, because I'm mentioning that people are taking different drugs for their hormones. Are you still there?
Uh-oh, we may have lost her again.
I'm just walking to the playground, so I don't have to hold the phone.
Okay, well, okay.
Sit down. I'll hold more. So it's getting discombobulated. I'm here.
Okay, so because we don't see it, but at any rate, so when we
my service in the car up in the house.
no, there you go. Well, okay. There's some of you anyway.
It looks like it just only works outside, so I'll just have to be outside for it to work.
Okay. Sorry.
My bad.
Hey, thank you for putting up with us.
All good.
Appreciate you. And
no worries. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
No worries. So when we I had mentioned that these women are taking different hormone drugs or hormone replacing drugs, and some are taking progesterone. And then you mentioned cleansing, and then I'm saying to myself, okay, so am I not to tell someone to take Xerafem and stay balanced and these other products that what should I be doing here?
I love Xerafem. Totally tell people to take that. That stuff's a supplement that I recommend women take. It's safe. It's not harmful. It won't disrupt their medications for the most part. But telling people not to take medication, you got to be really careful with that. There's things you have to do. There's processes that you got to go through to help people get off medication safely. I don't recommend, hormone medication. I think there's, if they go to a doctor and that doctor prescribed medication when talking about the hormones, is because they don't know how to support the hormones. They don't know how to detox the hormones. They don't know what's good or bad for the hormones, because medication, in my opinion, is very necessary when it comes to hormonal imbalances. I help women stop their night sweats and hot flashes. And some women bleed. They're on their period for 6 months straight. They don't stop bleeding for 6 months. Oftentimes that means there's an estrogen dominance, and they have to, also cleanse their glandular system, their hormonal system. That's oftentimes the body's trying to, whenever the body doesn't stop bleeding, it's because it's trying to let go of something. It's something's in the body that's the body's trying to detox. And so the body just does the only thing it really can do sometimes is bleed. And then we lose a lot of blood, and that's, of course, going to cause a blood deficiency, which can cause anemia. So anyway, when it comes to hormones, I don't recommend medication. I recommend, support, a healthy diet, a healthy mind, and detoxing. And also Xerafem is a great way to do that as well.
Oh, I know some people that need to talk to you. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. That was immensely helpful as always.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Great questions, AJ. And Dr. Taylor, if somebody would like to schedule an appointment with you, I know that you do virtual appointments. How would be the best way to get a hold of you?
So email is the best way. drtaylormitchell@gmail.com.
That's Dr. Taylor with an O, Mitchell, and 2 L's at gmail.com. So we'll get that put into the chat as well. Thank you so much for being on with us today. We greatly appreciate you and your time, your wisdom, and sharing with us about what started out as sleep and the different things that happen sleeping, the different time frames. So we need to definitely be thoughtful on that and give our body that opportunity to go through all of those different cycles of healing throughout each and every night. And then going into women's health and all types of stuff. So I love the fact that, you want to know more information, because there are so many things that can contribute to somebody having a condition, whether it's poor health, whether it's a little extra weight, a lot of extra weight. There's a lot of things that go into that where, yes, minerals and nutrients are very, very important, but we got to look at the body as a whole. Now, Marilyn, did you have another quick question as we're closing down? Okay, let's go. One more quick question.
Yes, a question about
Awesome.
sleep. I never have problems sleeping. I could fall asleep in 2 minutes. So what do you do
That's
for
great.
someone like that doesn't have a problem like sleeping too much? I mean,
Oh, you sleep too much.
well,
How
I
many
feel
hours a night do you get?
well, it seems like it's hard for me to have a regular schedule with longevity because I get calls all the time. So everything's erratic. And so like when I do lay down, I pass out. And then it seems like it's hard for me to get up, like groggy. Almost
So
like
groggy.
more low energy. Yeah, than anything. It seems like I'm not getting I don't have a regular where I wake up in the morning. The circadian rhythm seems way off because I don't get proper sleep. I don't have a regular schedule. I wish I could, but it seems like with the business, it's very hard.
Are you exercising at all?
I do walk. I walk about a
Okay.
couple miles every day.
Okay. Are you getting your heart rate up?
No, I think it's more steady. Well, I do climb the steps. I do climb steps like I make laps around my apartment complex. I walk and then I walk up steps. So I'd say 30 steps each round. So I assume that would increase my heart rate.
That's good. So you're really asking, so you feel groggy in the morning and you want help with that. Okay. I think, well, do you want to schedule time to chat? I can probably kind of ask you some more questions and maybe we can figure out what it is. There's got to be something in your environment or something that you're doing that's causing that, so that we can help you figure that out.
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you. I love that.
Yeah, because it'd be hard for me just to tell you some things right now. I'd have to ask questions. It's really how you figure things out is you ask questions. You don't I don't like to make assumptions.
Okay. All right. Sounds
So
good.
we'll chat. I think you and I have chat on Facebook, so I'll reach out to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Enough. And if I could get the co-hosts on the screen with us, because we couldn't do this program without them, as they are supporting us to make sure that the stream is going smoothly, everything is set up, that questions are being brought in from the different platforms, including here in the room. we just want to say thank you and a great big shout out to each and every one of our co-hosts today, where we have Marilyn, who's doing the transcription, who she works a lot. But, you know, yeah, I feel really bad for people that are still up when I'm up. I don't know why, but anyways, she does a lot for the team, and we greatly appreciate her. We have Sherry also, who does a lot for the team and helping people. And she's part of the tech crew. Also on the tech crew, we have Ruth Allen, who is my executive production manager, and she's helping keep everything organized. We have AJ, who is the assistant to the executive production manager, who is also our social media and platform guru, helping to keep things rolling as well. And there's a couple others on today's show. There's a lot of coaches here. And I just hope that each and every one of you who are listening or watching just take in this information and be able to share it with somebody else, whether you're a coach or whether you're just an individual that cares about people. There is a place for you in this world. Your purpose, especially since you are listening to the Daily with Doc show, is to share information with others to help them find a better health journey as well. So again, thank you so much, Dr. Taylor Mitchell. And again, that's drtaylormitchell@gmail.com if you'd like to reach out to her and schedule an appointment, as we want to thank her and give her the opportunity to help people as she likes to help people most. And that's getting all the details and being more specific and focused. And folks, you have been watching Daily with Doc. You get back with the person that shared this program with you. If there's no one to thank and you have questions or you would like to get connected with a certified holistic health coach, feel free to give us a call at 855-949-3377. Again, that's for people that are not already working with somebody, that have not made any purchases from the longevity product line. That's 855-949-3377. And if you are new and you're a do-it-yourselfer, go to DailywithDoc.com. You will find replays of our previous programming. You'll also find a good foods, bad foods list to help you make wiser food choices, and other articles to help you do the same, and a store. So that's DailywithDoc.com. My name is Becca Dukes. Thank you so much for joining us during this hour. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you tomorrow with Dr. Joel Wallach. Bye for now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.